Welcome to The Range with your host, Brennan Brown, and here with your sports panel, the one and only, the Honorable Chris Gallen.
Texas, baby!
JB
I was born there.
Brown, Wes Henderson, and Cleveland Spears, the Rockets fan.
Segment brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
They need to give us some money then. First and foremost, Cleveland Spears. Talk about it.
All right, everybody knows this past weekend was the NBA All-Star Game.
Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Yeah, terrible. Probably one of the worst All-Star games ever that I've ever witnessed in my 21 years of living. I hate to say it, but Dallas knows how to fuck some shit up. So yes, everybody, what was the worst part about the whole weekend?
Slam dunk contest. Point blank.
Why is it so bad?
Mainly because they didn't have anybody dunking, and then you got these same sorry ass dunks you see every dunk contest, and then there was like no dunk that just had you jump out your seat. So it's a dunk contest.
Well, I'm happy they didn't have Jalen Rose commentating first and foremost. And then, of course, the dunk contest was the sorriest thing there was. For a man to go up there and do a regular left-hand dunk lets you know that it wasn't worth watching. And for Paul Pierce, three-point contest.
Trash.
I can't believe that.
It's
He
trash.
won it, but then during the game they had the nerve to say that Paul Pierce was one of the best shooters.
No.
Reggie Miller said that.
No,
Reggie
Reggie
Miller.
said that, but
Reggie
don't
Miller.
forget, Paul Pierce self-proclaimed himself
As one of the best shooters
in
and
history.
Then, I forgot who was commentating with Reggie, but Reggie wanted to hear him say, "No, Reggie, he's not in the class with you and Bird and all."
Well, that was Doug Collins.
Reggie trying to toot his own horn. Never
Yeah.
won a championship though, and then they said Spike Lee is best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. Now, I thought the worst part of the whole weekend was probably the celebrity game, man. And you talk about the dunk contest being weak. You know, Paul Pierce. When did Paul Pierce win the three-point contest? That was terrible. That was trash. Now, I thought the celebrity contest, the celebrity game, trash. There was nobody even there. Only in a celebrity game could you show up late and still be important. Common and Chris Tucker show up at halftime and still became important parts of the game. That is trash. And Chris Tucker, you done got fat, nigga. You got fat and gray in your beard. You don't need to be playing no basketball. You need to be at a nursing home. Because you are just that terrible. And then you airballed a three-pointer talking about, I'm just getting warmed up. That is a sorry-ass excuse. Hell, there's NBA players that at least hit the net. You didn't even hit the net. It was terrible. In the dunk contest,
T.O. could have won the dunk contest.
Yeah, T.O. could have won the dunk
He
contest.
could have won the dunk contest with his little dunks. What you think about it, Wes?
No, I hated the dunk contest. You know, I despised it. Just because of the fact that they use mediocre, below average players to be in the dunk contest, and for the main part, they did mediocre and below average dunks. You know, I wanted to see someone that would, like you said earlier, rock me off my seat, make me jump out, you know, actually enjoy watching the whole contest. You know, but these guys is doing this little left-hand dunk, you know, one-hand dunk. You know, people do that all the time. And, you know, I think that some of the dunks that are actually in the All-Star game were better than the ones in the slam dunk contest.
Especially when we put Jerry Wall's punk ass in the damn shit.
How do you do that?
Speaking of the All-Star game, the All-Star game was a little decent. You know, it wasn't exciting.
It got competitive at the end.
The crowd was not
last-
into the
The
game.
last minute.
The crowd was not in the game.
The crowd
A
was
crowd
not
of
into the game.
108,000 people weren't even in the game until the last 2 minutes.
Well, most of them left.
The biggest
Yeah.
ovation was for Kobe Bryant when they was announcing the USA team.
Yeah.
That was the biggest applause.
And you know that nigga sorry.
You bitch too.
Now, granted, I was discussing this with JB earlier, but what do you think of the NBA adopting the winner of the All-Star game gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals? What's the big deal with that?
That serves no purpose.
Why not?
Serves no purpose. There's no point in it.
Why?
Because that'll take away the accomplishment of the team that had the best record during the season.
Yeah.
And the All-Star game is for fun. I'm not finna for people that get voted in by the fans who don't know what the hell they're doing, no way. It shouldn't serve as a purpose to figure out.
Because it works for baseball.
Baseball different.
It works for baseball. So you got to admit, I mean, there's people who work very hard in baseball who don't get home field advantage.
Baseball stinks.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on the fact that it's not fair to the players. I would personally, if I was in the Western Conference Championship, and knowing that since I was not an All-Star and going to the NBA Finals and I don't have home court advantage, just because there's some players who I really don't care about that much or who I beat in the Western Conference Championship, they get that chance and I have to go and have no home court advantage, and we have a better record than the opposing team, just because they're from the West. It doesn't make sense. I wasn't there to contribute, so what's in it for me? I wasn't part of the All-Star game. It just doesn't bring it in. So speaking of NBA playoffs, we're going to be talking about critical things that are going to be happening in the NBA, as we talked about earlier, is trades. Big thing about getting into the trades. Trade deadline is this Thursday. That's a big issue right now because most teams are trying to make that last-minute move to get in that playoff contention. Now, we saw my boys, they're definitely my boys, as you can definitely tell, make the trade with the Washington Wizards to get Caron Butler, Brandon Haywood, and Deshaun Stevenson. Now, you saw that. Now, are there any teams out there who do y'all think need to make a move before Thursday?
First and foremost, it's not my team, but it's my homeboy, my cousin. He's sort of like a brother to me. Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady, please, just play a game. Houston, Knicks, it don't matter where you go. Preferably, I wouldn't mind seeing you going to the Knicks, so I can give me a new Knicks. I be my first ever Knicks jersey with your name. And hopefully you get number 1 back, because I'd be damn if I buy a jersey with number 3. But Tracy McGrady, I want you to play basketball. Everybody's always talking about your career's over, you're useless, you're nothing. I don't want to hear that no more. Get back on the court and kill people. Not literally, but beat them.
Maybe you should.
Maybe.
Well, I think, one team, besides Tracy McGrady on the roof, Amari Stoudemire. I'm sorry, if the Suns want anything from Amari Stoudemire, they have to trade him before Thursday. Because if he doesn't get traded, then he's definitely not going to re-sign with them in the offseason. So he's going to be part of that huge 2010 class, with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. And then so why not go and give him a head start with LeBron James and trade him to the Cavs, get Big Z, and get J.J. Hickson. Just go ahead and put him in a Suns uniform and let Amari Stoudemire do work in Cleveland.
I agree with that. I feel that J.J. Hickson would be more of a fit in Phoenix because I think he can run up and down the court, and then Zeke, it's possible that he can fit in. I mean, he might not be able to fit in with the fast pace, but if it ever gets to a half-court game so where they can't get that many fast break points, I think he'll do just fine over there.
Well, I mean, even though Big Z, he can shoot from the perimeter sometimes as well. I mean, the Suns actually have a legitimate center because, you really want to put Lopez in the center? I don't think so. But my team that possibly needs to make a move could be the Miami Heat for Amari Stoudemire, even though it probably won't happen, because Michael Beasley could flourish in that Phoenix Suns fast-paced offense.
Yeah, and another team that I think needs to make a move is the Boston Celtics. I think that they're, and I've been hearing rumors back and forth between trying to get Kirk Heinrich from the Chicago Bulls for Ray Allen, and that could be kind of interesting. I don't really see why Boston would do that. That's kind of a downgrade, but we'll see how the season comes out. So I don't know.
We'll be right back with the rain.